Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of A Healthy Dose of Fran. Today, Percy Jackson returns in a video looking at probably something that's going to be very controversial. But as I've always said, that is what I do here. I bring up the controversial facts about PJO. And today I will be talking about the female characters of pretty much the entire Riordanverse and the way in which they are treated in the books and in the fandom. And particularly the fact that they deserve a hell of a lot better. Yep, I'm getting my sass on because I have a lot of inner rage about all this kind of stuff, because I think the way in which the female characters are written and presented and kind of treated by the fandom in general, like what I discussed in my Everybody Hates Annabeth video, they really get a lot of double standards from the fandom and in the books as well, particularly with how they're written. And I find it really unfortunate that that is the case. And I kind of basically want to explore this in a little bit more depth and kind of put forward the realities of what has happened with their presentation both in the books and in the fandoms. Now, I know I did a whole video about why do people hate Annabeth, but I'm going to talk a little bit about her again at the start here, just because I felt like Annabeth, and Piper is next up here, get pretty much the worst of the lot from the fandom and from the books as well. Now, the thing I want to focus on mainly is the jealousy side of things. Now, loads of people have brought up this idea and continue to perpetrate this idea that Annabeth is a jealous and possessive person, and there is just no evidence of that whatsoever. Firstly, the portrayals that we do get of her with jealousy, particularly towards Rachel, is just her being frustrated by Rachel's presence, usually, as I brought up in the video, because she's interrupting on something that's to do with demigod business, or she is in a sense showing her up and being better than her, which to someone who has already bad self-esteem and self-image issues, that's going to cause a lot of problems. But she's never been particularly vicious towards her in relating to Percy, whereas Percy's jealousy I find stands out a lot more. Now, Percy has been jealous of Luke towards Annabeth for quite a long while. We don't notice it in The Lightning Thief because they don't really know each other there, but we notice it in Sea of Monsters, Titan's Curse, and it continues throughout the rest of the books. And even in one of them, particularly the Titan's Curse, when Luke is yeeted off of the mountain by Talia, Percy does actually, from what I can remember, hope that he is dead. Yeah, so I'm a clown. It wasn't that he was happy that he was dead, it's that he was annoyed that Annabeth really hoped that he wasn't. That's the jealousy part. Yeah, so that was me just being a clown. Let's just pretend it didn't happen. And whether that's jealousy or the fact that he just wants this to be over, it's not really explained as much, but there is definitely this hint of a jealous aspect there. But no one ever brings up Percy's jealousness and just his general jealousy. He has a lot of jealousy. He's got a lot of envy for a character, like being envious of Luke, like being envious of Talia, and just all these various things, but we just never hear about any of it. But with Annabeth, from those few small scenes, and admittedly they aren't great scenes, and I do blame Rick a little bit in relation to those, because a friendship between Rachel and Annabeth would have been incredible, because they are both incredibly intelligent women. So why make them rivals? Like, that's the blame is fully there for his writing and his portrayal of those characters, but the fandom have really made that a lot worse. But following on from that and going on to the next person, because I don't want to talk too much about the Annabeth thing, because I have done a whole video on that, so, go watch that. But Piper is another example of, firstly, the fandom taking things way too far, but also bad writing on Rick's part. Now, I'm not going to talk about the ethnicity side, because I know there's a lot of problematic elements for Piper's presentation as a Native American. And I don't know much about that, so I'm not going to talk about that because that is not my place. But in terms of her being a female character, and the fact that she's meant to be like an anti-Aphrodite thing, which to this day, I hate that so much. But what's worse is that she is portrayed as someone who's completely obsessed with Jason. And it's given not particularly like a bad view in the books, other than like the comparison of Percy and Jason and stuff that she does and things like that. But all those things that happen with her really liking Jason, comparing Percy and Jason, and all those things have made the fandom pretty much hate her and think she is petty and useless and just not a good person or character. I never hear anything positive about Piper, really, like at all. And I find it really difficult to find anything positive about her. Really, her character isn't that well written, I will admit that. Same with Jason, but that's a different thing. But considering that Leo is literally basically the male Piper, he is obsessed with romance. He is obsessed with women, basically, and getting into a relationship. And then his relationship with Calypso, literally the worst thing to ever come out from the books. I'm going to make a video on that in future because it's just no. His treatment of Calypso is the thing that really grates on me the most, and I will get onto that in future. But considering all those things, the complete identicalness between their romantic ways, Leo gets none of that. Everyone adores Leo. Everyone thinks it's really cute that he wants a relationship and that he's obsessed with romance. But the same thing with Piper is despised. Why? Now a few other ones, and I was going to bring up Hazel, but I started to think about the things to do with Hazel, because her equivalent is basically Frank. And the unfortunate thing with her and Frank is that they're basically forgotten by the fandom. No one cares about Hazel or Frank. And they're literally the most interesting characters. I feel like I'm going to have to do a video about them now in future too. Because I've done a few on Frank, but I need to do more on Hazel, I think is the thing here. Because I love Frank, but I do definitely need to do a lot more on Hazel. But yeah, there was nothing that I could bring up on Hazel because no one really has an opinion on Hazel. But some other characters that I want to bring light on. These are more kind of side characters that popped up here and there, but definitely had some visceral opinions from within the book and also in the fandom. Number 1, Bianca, Nico's sister. Everyone hates Bianca. They consider what she does to Nico, her joining the Hunters, to be the biggest portrayal. Most people consider her to be a traitor. Even in the books, Percy doesn't like her for her decision. And I think that's really unfair, because if you look at it, she has just seen someone die. And she's been given the opportunity for safety, to be able to be her own person, not have to look after her sibling all the time. I know it sounds horrible, but if you were told, okay, you're going to be in danger for the rest of your life, you're going to have to raise your sibling again for pretty much the rest of your life until you suddenly die, probably because you're killed by a monster. But if you come with us, you can have independence, you can have a happy, healthy life and be with people who treat and respect you as an equal. Which one are you going to choose? You are going to choose to have this happiness and have this ability to be your own person, something that clearly she has never been able to have, because she's basically Nani from Lilo and Stitch. She's had to give everything up because they've lost their family. Nani was a champion surfer, and she had to give everything up and struggle to find work to help raise Lilo. And that's exactly what Bianca's been having to do by basically raising Nico. And now she's been given this opportunity to actually be someone who is young. And the fandom and Percy and Nico rip into her for it. And then treat Nico, who then abandons everyone, lies to people, does some pretty horrific stuff as well. And he's everyone's cute baby emo boy. And no one has any problem. Like, he is a brat. Straight up, he is a brat. I'm just going to say it. People are going to hate me for it. I don't really care. He is a brat. But he gets no bad treatment from the fandom. He is adored by the fandom. And then for my final one, I'm getting really passionate about this. My final one is Selena Beauregard, who for some reason apparently doesn't deserve to be redeemed, and yet most people who say she doesn't deserve to be redeemed are happy to redeem Luke, the person who made her a victim, the person who victimized, blackmailed, and led her to doing everything that she does. He gets redeemed, she does not. Where is that logic, guys? Where is it? It makes no sense whatsoever that the abuser gets the redemption, but the victim does not. I just don't understand it. And I think that's the thing here. Even in the books, Selena's redemption is questioned in Heroes of Olympus. Luke's is never questioned. Same thing with the fandom. All these things about comparing the female and male characters, both in book and in fandom. There is a lot of double standards between the two of them, and I think that's the most unfortunate thing, because all these characters are similar and different, but we all treat them in very different ways, predominantly based on their gender, because we're kind of getting their perspectives from someone who wouldn't understand what was going on, or who doesn't actually know what's going on. They're just perceiving it in a certain way, which in turn makes us perceive it in a certain way. Just no one looks into it, because there is just this general double standard in for the girls in the Riordanverse. But what do you guys think? That ran on for a lot longer than I thought it was going to. I got very passionate and very annoyed by a lot of things. But yeah, what do you guys think? Do you think there is a bit of a double standard between the female and male characters in the Riordanverse? Or do you just think I went a bit too far? Whatever the case, let me know in the comment section down below. Before I sign off, I want to give a massive thank you to the owner of today's thumbnail image, Althea Cosplay, who is a brilliant Annabeth cosplayer, and all the people in the image are also fantastic cosplayers. The image and the profiles will be linked down below, so go check all of them out, follow and support them. And to Althea, I hope I'm saying that right, thank you so much for letting me use the image. As always though, I want to thank you guys so much for watching this video. I really do appreciate it. In the description box down below you'll find the links to all of my social media, my merchandise store and my Patreon. If you haven't already subscribed and you want more Percy Jackson content, of course hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you know when new videos are out. Again, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.